we're making a very, very small start on something which is long overdue, which is to reduce the cost of the vast cost, 6 million a day, which works out about, by math, close on 2 billion a year, housing these migrants in hotels where the government is being ripped off by hoteliers at a rate of about 5 times the rate that they charge for ordinary room lettings. So I think that any way in which we can reduce this bill, which is being forced upon us against our wishes, as a country that is, they're better. And I'd like to see more than just 50, but I'm not sure we're going to see that boat filled this week. I think it's a very big issue among voters. The only problem is that the government has left it very much too late to do something about it. And here we are about, 15 months away from a general election at the latest, and we still haven't sent anyone to Rwanda. We're talking about Ascension Island as an alternative to Rwanda. That isn't going to happen between now and the election. And so far, all we've had, apart from these 50 now boarding the boat, is words from this government. And I think that unless we see something fairly substantive and dramatic that shows that this government has really changed and is doing something about a problem which concerns an awful lot of people in this country, I think that they've lost the argument. Ever since the floodgates were opened by Tony Blair back 20 odd years ago, under the freedom of movement that was then possible under the European Union rules, anyone who has criticized the measure, and there have been plenty, have been denounced as either fascist or racist or both. And that has taken over as the raucous cry behind any move by the Conservative government to do something about mass immigration, illegal immigration I'm talking about. And as I say in my column today, these people are the worst type of migrant, because by the very nature, by the very definition of these migrants arriving illegally, is that they are breaking the law the moment they set foot on British soil. And they remain basically outlaws to a greater or lesser degree, depending on your interpretation of the word, until they are either rejected or given residential status, or thirdly, disappear into the sort of undergrowth somewhere. Well, you're always going to get the human rights shroud wavers, and particularly those in the Labour Party and the Liberal Democrats, howling at the government or any other authority that tries to slow down or stop or even do other than welcome this tide of illegal immigration into the country. And they will use any measure whatsoever and any argument that's at their disposal to make it look as if the government is being deeply inhumane, when in fact, the British record stands in comparison as an exemplary example compared with many other countries. And it's the reason, in fact, why so many want to cross the entire continent of Europe in order to come and live here. We are very tolerant, really, towards migrants generally, and particularly those who have come legally and settled here and made homes and lives for themselves in this country legitimately. What we particularly object to, possibly because of our long history of queuing, is queue jumping. People who simply barge their way into the country uninvited and demand to have residency here. I think that the Deputy Prime Minister, Oliver Dowden, was absolutely right yesterday to say that if you break into this country, you do not deserve the same rights as those who come here legitimately. And if that was being said sooner and with more effect earlier, I think there would not be the problem that the government is in at the moment. All the emphasis would then fall upon Labour and the Liberal Democrats to say what they would do in order to stop this flood of migrants. And it is a flood. I mean, we've just passed 15,000 so far this year. And but for the windiest summer we've had in generations, I think the figure would have been much higher. It's only the high waves and rough seas that have stopped that number being even bigger.